Welcome back to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and today we're gonna play Wingspan. Now this game is amazing. It's a digital board game about birds. I played already like 4 or 5 times and I really enjoy it. So let's just go. I'm gonna play a custom game against the normal difficulty opponent, and now let's go. Look at this. Alright, so the first thing you can do is you can choose your cards, which is what we're going to do in a moment. The game is played over 4 rounds. In each round you have 1 less turn than in the previous one. You start off with 8, then 7, then 6, then 5. The first thing you can do is you can pick your goals. So what is this game about? Well, the game is about playing birds, and each bird you play gives you a certain amount of points, and then you gain additional points from laying eggs, caching food, or eating up other birds. Also, you get points from fulfilling special goals. So in each round you have your own goal. We can click on it over here. For example, in round 1 we get a point. We get points if we have the most eggs on birds with a bowl type nest. So this is not that important right now, but just know that you can get extra points from like rounds. So in the beginning we can pick our cards. This is very important because you're going to be able to play your birds, and you can also pick your goals. So this is like your specific goals, and you get points from them similarly as you do get points from these rounds. So you can either get a breeding manager, birds with at least 4 eggs laid on them. It's actually not bad because if you check the round you can see that a lot of these are egg specific, so it might be a good combination. Or birds with bowl nests. I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick the breeding manager. Oh, but it has to have 4 eggs laid on them. Not every bird has 4 legs, even optional to add on them. For example, if you check this Mississippi kite, you can only have 1 egg on it. But this one could have 4, and this one as well. Okay, well, we'll do it. We'll pick this. We'll pick this. Now we can pick our birds. So, in this game, there are 3 habitats. There is forest, grasslands, and water. And you can place those birds in those habitats. So up here you can see on which habitat the bird can be placed. So we've already told that it's important for us to pick birds that can have at least 4 eggs laid on them. So we're going to pick the common yellowthroat and the mountain bluebird. Now up here it's also written the cost you need to pay to play the bird. And then I definitely want a bird that is going to go on a forest type. So we could either pick the Bewick's wren or the Mississippi kite. I'm going to pick the Mississippi kite because... oh. Okay, actually I'm going to pick this one because this one has a really good ability. So under each build you can see an ability. We'll talk more about them later. And next I'm going to pick some food. So I'm going to pick a worm. And then I'm going to pick... but this would also be quite good. I'm gonna pick a worm and this little thing. And we're going to begin. Alright. Each turn, there are a couple things you can do. You can either play a bird. Now, or you can activate a habitat. So this is a habitat, this is the forest habitat. In this habitat, you can gain food. So you click on the first open sort of box, which is this one. If there was a bird here, then the first open box would be this one. And this tells you what you can do. So this one just says, hey, you can pick 1 food. Then you could click on... then you can go to the grasslands. Here, you can lay 2 eggs. Because this is showing you that you can do 2 eggs. Now what's important is if you wanted to place a bird in any of the following sort of boxes, not on the first one, you have to pay an egg to do it. So that's why this laying egg is important. And lastly, here you can draw a brand new card. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick a card here, and I'm going to grab myself another worm. And then I'm going to need to get a grain so that I can play the Bewick's wren. Alternatively, we could try to get additional cards because this bird has an ability. When I play him, I can play a second bird in my grassland, pay its normal cost. This is really important because you can essentially play two birds in the same turn. So I could place this bird over there. This bird is super cool because it has an ability where you can move him around. This is very important because if you look here, this is going to give me one food. But if I were to have a bird here, I could click on this and then I could get a one food and exchange a card for another food. So this bird can move around and it can essentially fill up spots so we gain better benefits. So that's why it's important. So I think I am actually going to try to see if I could gain a new card, if I could gain a forest, some sort of a forest animal so I can get food a little bit faster. Yes, I could gain the northern cardinal. Now this could just cost me 1 grain and 1 cherries, so in 2 turns I could build him or play him. And also every time I activate him, we'll tell you how to activate birds soon, you'll gain extra cherry from the supply. That is fantastic. So we're gonna get him. This was a really good decision for us. You'll see in a moment. Now, we need to go back to the forest and we need to gain 1 more food. This time we need to gain a grain so I can play the northern cardinal. So I'm gonna grab myself a grain. You're essentially picking the food from this tray over here. And now I can finally place my first bird. So I'm going to place the northern cardinal over here. And I'm going to pay a grain and a cherry for him. And now next time I want food, I'm going to click on this thing. It's going to give me the food and he will be activated. And that means he will give me extra cherry. Okay. Now what we said we wanted to do next, we wanted to do these 2. For which I'm going to need 2 worms, a grain, and a cherry. So he's going to give me the cherry, 3 worms actually. So here I'm going to go and I'm going to grab a grain. And then he's going to give me a cherry automatically. We could also exchange a card in order to gain another food. So what I could do is I could exchange this common yellowthroat to grab a new card. And I'm actually going to do it. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to sacrifice him, say, hey, I don't want to make you. Even though he has the 4 things, so that was actually pretty good, but we're not going to take it anyway. And we're going to grab a new food. Now, the only thing here we have left is cherry, and we're actually going to gain cherry from this bird, so we don't need that. So if there are only food of the same type left, you can sort of re-roll, and you gain a new bunch of food. We need more worms, so we're going to grab another worm, click on this, and then we're going to gain the cherry from the supply. Great. So now we just got enough. So next turn what we could do is we could place both of these birds in 1 turn here. However, in order to place the second one, we're going to need an egg. So we first need to have an eggs that we can use. So we're going to click on this and we're going to lay eggs on our beautiful bird over here. Also satisfies the first condition, but we're not going to win on this condition because we are focusing on other things first, but that's okay. And now that we've got enough things, we can go here and we can place first the mountain bluebird. We'll do it. And we're going to pay 1 worm and 1 cherry. And now because we played him, we have the ability to play a second one, which is going to be this Bewick Ware. We're going to pay 2 worms and a grain for it. And we're going to spend an egg for it over here. Okay. Now this is great because now if we activate this, we're going to gain 3 eggs, which is really, really important for us because we need eggs to fulfill our main condition. And you can see now this is more beneficial. Another big bonus is when this guy is activated, he moves around. So essentially I can predict what I want to do next turn. So let's say this turn I want to lay eggs, okay? And next turn I'm going to want to, let's say, pick cards. Well, in that case, it would be a good idea to move him to this water habitat because then I can not only pick a card but also grab an X for additional card. Sacrifice X for additional card. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to click here on these eggs. We're going to place eggs on people with the nest type because that gives us a bonus. We only have 1, so we're probably not going to win it, but we're going to try at least. We're going to click OK. And then we're going to move the Bewick's Wren, this guy, to the water habitat so that we can gain extra cards. Alright? Still with me? Hope you are. We both have 1 bird like this, so we're going to share our points. We're both going to get 2 points. Otherwise, the first person will get 4 and the second person will only get 1 point. It's important to check. Okay. Now in this round, we get points for eggs for birds with with this particular nest type. Do we have anyone with that nest type? We do not. Okay, well, either way, now we want to grab cards, and we want to also sacrifice an egg to gain an extra card. So we're going to sacrifice this egg to gain an extra card. So now we can pick 2 cards. Alright, so what are we thinking? There are no birds that would have 4 legs available to lay. That's alright. So it's important to look at these kind of options here. So we have a discard 1 fish to tack 2 cards from the deck behind this bird. So tacking cards behind a bird is really cool because you gain points for them. However, that means we need to have a lot of food, and we don't really have that many birds in the forest habitat, so I'm not quite sure I'm happy with this. This great blue heron is really interesting though. Play a second bird in your waterland, pay its normal cost. This again would allow us to play more birds, which is very, very useful. So I quite like this one actually. When another player plays a forest bird, gain 1 worm from the supply. This is amazing. Because this is dependent on what he does, and we know that there is a goal to play forest birds in the next round, so he's probably going to do a lot of that, which is going to give us additional food. So we could place these 2 together in the waterland. Play this guy and then that guy, which is going to give us really cool points. So we're going to grab that. I like that. Okay, now we can move Bevik's wren to another habitat. We definitely don't want him to stay here because we need to make sure that he's always to the right of all other birds. So I'm actually going to move him to the forest because I'm going to, next time I'm going to grab some extra food so that I can start placing these guys. So let's move him to the forest and move on. Okay. 6 turns left. We need a worm or a cherry. We're going to get cherry automatically from this guy. So we need to try to grab a fish and, oh, and a worm, but we don't have a worm. It's a bit unfortunate. We could grab a cherry then and reroll, but yeah, that's not, we're gonna grab double fish then. So it's a bit unfortunate. We're gonna have to eat 1 more time. Now we could move this guy or not. What are we gonna do next turn? I think presumably we're just going to grab more food again. So I'm actually not gonna move him. I'm gonna skip it. And I'm just going to gain the cherry from the supply. That's great. And we're just gonna stay here. Now we are going to try to grab some food again. This time we need a worm. And we're gonna grab an extra fish. If you have 2 of 1 food, we can exchange it for 1 food of the following. Now, where do we want to move this guy? Very important. We cannot afford to move him to here because here is where we're gonna be placing cards. We're probably gonna move him to the either to the eggs, or we're gonna keep him in the forest. Are we gonna lay eggs next? We could. No. We're gonna keep him in the forest, I think. Yeah, we're gonna keep him in the forest. Yeah, we're gonna skip the power. Gain 1 cherry from the supply. And now we're going to go into the wetlands. And we're going to place these 2 beautiful birds. So we're going to start off with this one, the great blue heron, which is going to give us 5 points. And we'll pay a fish and a worm for it. Go. Then we're going to play our second bird, which is this guy, and we'll pay a cherry for him. Sure. And now we need to pay an egg cost for it. So we're going to grab the egg from the northern cardinal. And that is it. Now this is passive, so this will just automatically work out. If he happens to place a forest bird, we'll just gain that 1 worm from the supply. Alright. Now we said we want to do food next, and then we're probably going to draw more cards. So then we're going to play our this guy into the water habitat. How are we doing on this round though? He has no bird like this, neither do we. I don't think we actually have any bird available. Like even if you wanted to place X, yeah, it would be pointless. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some more food and then we're going to move him to the waterlands. Alright, so we're gonna re-roll this. We don't actually know what we want, so it's a bit problematic. So I'm gonna try to grab some worms because we need them usually a lot. And we'll just hope for the best because I don't actually know what we want next. We don't have the card for the birds. And we'll gain that extra cherry, which is always good. And now we're going to jump to the waterlands to gain new cards. Now, how many eggs do we have? We have 2 eggs. We could sacrifice an egg to gain an extra card, which would allow us to get 3 cards total. And then we could move him towards this laying egg place so we could gain a lot more eggs. We're gonna do that. So we're gonna grab this. Okay, well, let's first look at the option. Well, actually, no, we'll first sacrifice the egg. We want more cards. We're gonna sacrifice this egg and grab. What can we get? When another player takes the lay eggs action, this bird lays 1 egg on another with a nest type. This is good because we need a lot of things that allow us to lay eggs, so this is a great passive thing. This red-tailed hawk is also quite interesting because it allows you to... sort of every time you activate, so for example, if we keep it in the forest, this is a good thing because we could sort of gain some cards that are going to be tacked behind, so that's pretty useful. Look at the card from the deck. If it's less than 75 centimeters, stack it behind this bird. Alternatively, we could grab this. This does mean that we need to have fish, but I think that's handled. We're gonna go with this, I think, instead. Also, we could potentially place some eggs on this birds to gain just like points for that, so we're gonna grab these 2. The third could be either this one or we could pick like a random card. I think we'll pick this one. We'll have all 3 of them. And we said we wanted to move... Wait, but I could place this bird next turn. Oh, but then we wouldn't have any fish to discard it. So in order to place... Which doesn't matter because we'll grab more food too. Okay, so we could place this one next turn in the wetlands. So we need to get our bird out of the wetlands. And then afterwards we're probably going to try to lay some eggs like we said. Okay, so we're going to put him into the grasslands. Okay. Now we're going to play the bird. We only have 1 turn left, so we're not going to be able to place any eggs on them, but that's okay. We'll place this bird here. Pay the 2 food for it. And we'll spend this egg.
American white pelican. Pelicans work together to herd fish and then scoop them up.
Now we both got nothing, that's a bit unfortunate. Now at the end of this round we want to make sure that our bird, this one, where is he? This one, is going to be in the forest, so we gain extra points from that. But now I think we need to start placing some eggs. So let's do 1, 2, 3 here. Next turn we probably want some extra food because we're gonna need the food for the... we're gonna need the food for this guy, so we want to move it to the forest. Yeah, because there's no point playing this because we don't have the fish. Yeah, so we're gonna move him to the forest. Good. Now let's go to the forest. I'm gonna play the red-tailed hawk in the forest as well. Alright, so here we are going to try to grab some food. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a cherry, then we're gonna re-roll this and hope that we get a mouse. We did not get a mouse. So we're just going to grab a grain for this other bird then. Then we're going to move this guy to where? Now, a couple points. Do we have eggs? Yes, we do. So, next turn, even though I don't have the 2 mouses, I could sacrifice 2 cherries and 2 worms to actually place this guy anywhere. I'm gonna place him in the forest, so that means that my barracks will need to get out of the forest. So we're gonna place him, I think we're gonna place him here, because, well, actually we still don't have the fish. So we'll place him in the grasslands then. Unless, do we want to try one more time for food? And wait a turn before we place this big guy? You know what, we'll try one more time for food. Don't skip. No, we're gonna skip it. We want to keep him here. We'll gain the extra cherry. Now we're gonna grab 2 more food. We need that fish. There is no fish. We'll grab a grain reroll. Seriously, still no fish, but we can at least get one mouse here, which is gonna be good for us. I really need fish. And now we're going to move him to the... to the grasslands, I guess. We'll gain that extra cherry. We're going to place the red-tailed hawk now. Place him over here. We'll pay 2 cherries and a mouse for it, sure. We'll pay an egg from here.
Red-tailed hawk. Movies almost always use the red-tailed hawk's call for any raptor.
Now we need to lay eggs so that we can move this guy towards the food position. So let's lay eggs. 2 more here and 1 more here. And we're gonna move him back to the forest land. And in the last turn we're going to grab more food. We're gonna grab a grain, reroll. Finally we can get a fish. We could sacrifice this guy to get a new food, because next time we're probably going to draw new cards anyways. So yeah, so let's do it. We're actually gonna, well, then again, this guy does go into here, and we're gonna need to be laying a lot of eggs in the final round. But we could get new ones. Yeah, go on, let's sacrifice him. Get another, let's say, cherry. And we'll move this guy to the wetlands, because we will want more cards next turn. Alright, now we have activated our... Sorry, where were we? Oh, one of our other birds, so it means we have the... Yes, so this is less than 75 centimeters, so we can tuck this bird behind and we're going to get points for it. We'll also gain... Yeah, we were here. We're also going to gain the cherry from the supply, which is great. We both have 2, okay. I have a lot more eggs in the wetlands here, which is great. But this is our last round, so we gotta start focusing on laying eggs. That's kind of like the priority. So first, let's try to grab more cards. And then we're going to move this guy to the eggland and try to place eggs as much as we can. I think. Alright. Player with fewest forest birds gain 1 from bird feeder. Not really exciting. Anyone? Yeah, this guy has 4, so we want to grab him. It's pretty expensive food-wise, but we can afford it, actually. All players will lay 1 egg on any 1 nest bird. You may lay 1 additional egg on 1 additional bird. We're gonna grab a random card here. Discard 1 grain to tack 2. Oh, this is really good. We could use that. Place this in the wetlands because we've got the food for it, at least for now. We'll grab another random one. Roll all dice not in bird feeder. If any are mouse, gain 1 mouse and cash it on this card. So this is cashed food, which also gives us point. So we picked the 3 cards. We're gonna move this guy to the... Wait, I can place this one next turn. So I will want to place this one in the grassland, so I can have that guy there. And then for the others, we're probably going to need to gain more food. So we're gonna place this guy into the forest for now. We're gonna discard 1 fish to tack 2 cards from the deck behind this bird. That's this bird. Let's do it. So now we have two birds tacked behind. Right. Next thing we want to do is we want to place in the grasslands. Okay. Placing this guy. Yes. We could also play this guy. Maybe we'll play this guy first. 2 grain and 1 random. So 2 grains and a cherry. Yes. We'll try to pay a bird like here. We have 3 more rounds. Then we could place this bird as well. Yes. We'll pay... Okay, we're gonna have to pay from this set of X, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. We've got 2 turns left.
beautiful or charming.
Now here we can gain 3 eggs. We could discard, we don't have a grain to discard. It's a bit unfortunate because I wanted to tuck more of these behind, but we could place 3 eggs. Alternatively, we could try to gain the grain by going to the food place, and then next time we can lay 4 eggs. But I think it's more important to lay 3 eggs twice. But then again, tucking 2 cards behind our back would be very useful. Let's try this. We're gonna get some food first. We'll try to gain a grain. Then we'll re-roll. We'll gain an extra grain. And we're gonna sacrifice this card to gain a 3rd anything. Oh, we can't get any more grain. So I guess we'll gain a worm then. Go. We'll move this guy to the grasslands. Is this us? Yes. So we get another bird tucked behind us. That's great. We gain another cherry from supply. Now we're going to start laying eggs. We're gonna lay 4 eggs. 2 here. So we're only gonna get 1 point from this, which is not ideal, but that's okay. Then we're gonna keep this guy over here. Skip. We will lay an extra egg. Oh, I miscalculated that. So because we could have played 2 more eggs here, so we could have had 2 birds like this. So now we can just like... Yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll put 2 here. Oh, it can be on the same bird? In that case, we didn't mess up that bad. Okay. Yes, we're gonna discard 1 grain to attack 2 cards. And that is it. Oh, and we gain a worm here now, which is kind of irrelevant, but... Okay. Alright, we have way more eggs laid, so now we gain 7 points. So let's see how this went. Alright, bird-wise, we are 1 point better. Pretty bad on bonus cards. Eggs. No, we lost by 5 points. Still, I think this game is pretty amazing. We got quite a bit of points over here. If we go into details, you can actually see how much points we get from the tucked cards and things like that. I think we did pretty well. I think the problem was, like, I mean, it would have been 1 extra point, so it wouldn't be that much, but we were pretty close. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, write it in the comments, and you can click on the right to watch some other digital board games that I played on this channel. I'll see you there. Bye bye.